A warm welcome to Business Today. Thank you for having joined us tonight. Welcome to Business Today. I'm Rana Nahabwe, together with Winnie Wiyinza Nakawuchi for the sign language interpretation. Before we kick it off, here's what topped our focus. In Business Today, President Museveni issues a strong warning against investor sabotage, denounces politicians and government officials who discourage foreign investors. And Electricity Regulatory Authority and the Ministry of Energy embark on efforts to increase the number of certified electricians in a bid to eliminate quacks. The Ministry of ICT has applauded the role of public relations in enhancing purchasing power for business growth. You're welcome once again to Business Today. I'm Rana Nahabwe. Now, while promoting value addition to Uganda's exports, President Museveni has issued a warning against investor sabotage. He has denounced politicians as well as government officials who discourage foreign investors from making investments in the country. He also urged MDAs to streamline procedures for investors with the ability to develop value-added establishments. Take a look.
President Yoweri Museveni has cast caution towards investor sabotage, referencing to several instances where capable investors left the country after their investment advances were undermined by actions of what he called uninformed politicians. Speaking at the fourth biennial CEO retreat at Kira Vehicle Plant, the president was resolute on resolving issues that hinder internal value addition, particularly timber products.
But we have been having opposition, not only from external players, but the internal ones, politicians. We bring investors, they come to help us do that. Somebody goes to parliament and starts insulting people. It's the uninformed politicians, some of them being used by parasites to disturb our journey. Recently, I banned the export of timber. I didn't ban, I said nobody should export timber, which is unprocessed wood. What I want you is to be, so if you are a furniture maker, that's what you want. You need the timber to make the furniture here. So that if you want to export, you export the furniture, not the timber. It's very high. When you export unprocessed raw materials, instead of finished products, you are losing a lot of money.
Government officials and civil servants in attendance reported progress in projects focused on ensuring value addition in Uganda, while also recommending more steps forward in that regard to the president.
First one, enforcement of local content. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has used the Budget Call Circular, which is a powerful policy guide in the government, to direct accounting officers to implement local content in line with the law. As a result, the share of local content in the value of government contracts has increased from 51% in 2020-21 to 77% in 2022-23.
We particularly talked about scholarships. Your Excellency will request you that any government scholarship goes into areas that we cannot attain in our country. Scholarships to teach business, to teach accounting, to teach, those are things we can ably handle in our country. But the fourth industrial revolution has come. Those are the things we want our students to go and study.
I would like to quote, now that we have an educated workforce, that we have enough electricity, that we have good roads, that we are building or repairing the railway system, every effort must be made to add value to all our products.
Gene Daniel, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
Now looking at empowering electricians for enhanced connections in order to accelerate electricity access and achieve the government's target of 80% by 2040, currently at 57%, efforts are being made to increase the number of certified electricians while eliminating quacks. With 3,500 trained electricians already in the field, the Electricity Regulatory Authority and Ministry of Energy as well as Ministry of Development aims to reach 10,000 certified electricians to boost electricity access. Take a look. The 2022 Electricity Amendment Act introduces new provisions after Section 85. Creating offences related to interference with meters, works or public lamps, offenders may face fines or imprisonment. The Act also addresses theft of electricity separately. An interaction between the Electricity Regulatory Authority and the Class D as well as C permit holders aims to emphasize electricity access and safety.
The World Bank project is going to make us connect to more than 1 million, premises, 1 million, and then about 150,000 off-grid, So that means that you must have the foot soldiers on the ground. They should not be chekwaso, The foot soldiers are this installation team. They have to be on the ground to help people. This is not something you can do even if you are rich, however much you have the money. It has to be done by the professional people.
We have 2,450 Class C and Class D. But you know that we have Class A and Class B. The current total number is 3,500. We need 10,000. As part of these projects, we have a process where we have installed demonstration cubicles to fast track the practical imparting of knowledge, the practical training and building of the competences of wiremen, so that we are able to certify many in a short time.
Allegations suggest that some of the certified wiremen are involved in issuing fake installations through collusion with fraudulent individuals. The Honorable Minister clarifies that they should be diligent in their assigned areas, as repercussions will follow if they engage in misconduct. An interaction with a certified electrician reveals a prevalence of electrical counterfeits in the market. The board chairperson identifies fraudsters as a primary concern.
The challenge is really the use of unqualified wire people by the community. So that's why the Honorable, and I'm also adding my voice to call upon all Ugandans to always ensure that they use licensed wire persons. Not any person who says I can do the wiring of your house and you allow them to do it. So that's the major challenge they are facing on the ground.
Sometimes you may go and purchase some material, reaching on the market when the material the material is fake. There is too much fake material on the market. So we need that one also to be collected by
the Electricity Regulatory Authority to again turn around and do illegal connection. How? They are certified. These are certified. They will come to you. The certificate means that this person is trusted and is going to do the good work. But they are operating in a community, in a society, which has, funny, wiser people.
Despite efforts to increase electricity access, tariffs remain high for different user categories. Commercial at 807 shillings, medium industrial at 636 shillings, large industrial at 519 shillings, extra large at 429 shillings, all at peak. Street lighting at 370 shillings on average. The Electricity Regulatory Authority CEO emphasizing cooking and lifeline tariffs as measures to mitigate the high cost of electricity.
The cost of electricity is a continuous concern to us in the sector, and we have progressively put in place measures to ensure that the cost of electricity reduces across board. We are not yet where we want to be, but we are progressively achieving this. To share with the public, for the domestic customers, we introduced the cooking tariff, which is nearly 50% of the cost recovery tariff. While for domestic lighting and other activities, you pay 805 shillings per Yaka token. For cooking, you pay 412. They are able to enjoy 5.7 US cents for 18 hours a day. Why 18 hours? Because during the evening peak is when the domestic people, the household, are home utilizing electricity. So we want to attract these manufacturers to schedule their energy-intensive activities to the period when the domestic users are minimally using electricity. We've gotten feedback from the manufacturers that we should look at the weighting of the demand performance targets, and we are working with them.
Currently, around 1.7 million Ugandan households are connected to the electricity grid, out of the targeted 8 million. This means that only 8.5 million Ugandans have access to electricity. However, through partnerships like the Energy Scale-Up Project, Electricity Regulatory Authority aims to increase the electricity subsector. Rona Nahabwe, SMART24 TV, Business Today. Now looking at critical PR and business success, the Ministry of ICT has applauded the role of public relations in enhancing the purchasing power for business growth. The Minister of State for ICT, Baluku Kabyanga, says that public relations serve as a catalyst for business expansion and robust service delivery like the parish development model. He made the remarks during the National Public Relations Symposium. Pelsen Mumbele has more.
Public relation is often underestimated, misunderstandable and neglected by a lot of business people. Nevertheless, those who make an effort to understand its rules and implement them in their companies may be pleasantly surprised, as it may be a real game changer for their marketing efforts. During the National Public Relations Symposium, the Minister of State for ICT, Baluku Kabyanga, encouraged government and companies to embrace public relations, for it enhances purchasing power and a catalyst for business expansion.
Our flagship program is the parish development model. It is what we call the last mile strategy in eliminating poverty. But we must have good communicators to communicate to the population, to tell them what we aim at when we designed that strategy. And it shouldn't be limited to ministers. It shouldn't be limited to government communicators. It should also be work of all public relations officers. Because when people get out of poverty, if you are working in an organization which is manufacturing, you know you will have market. The people's purchasing power will be strong and your products will be bold. So,
although public relations and advertising can be put into the same marketing box, they are quite different in terms of approach and principles standing behind them. Tina Wamala, the president of Public Relations Association of Uganda, says that reputation management of any business company is critical, but business people give it a deaf ear.
Public relations support businesses in very many ways. The first and foremost way is reputation management. You cannot operate an organization that has a poor reputation, an organization that is seen as unbecoming from customers. So it is our role as public relations people to ensure that the positive image of an organization is seen and appreciated by people out there. The other way we support businesses to grow are through promoting their products and services.
Reports indicate that credibility is not built overnight. Utilizing the right public relation techniques, your company may lay the foundation of trust and start developing a sustainable reputation. Minister Kabyanga therefore underscored the need for government to start employing public relations officers.
Why now we are employing professionals in government communication. Nowadays we don't just assign. You know, in the past, we would just assign someone who is a senior assistant secretary and then you assign him, or principal assistant secretary, you assign that person the role of communication. So now we are also employing professionals. Someone must have studied courses related to public relations and communication so that we really get professional communicators to communicate government information. And obviously, just as I told you, sometimes when we don't communicate very fast or properly, then people start speculating.
She mentioned that we are unappreciated and we're misunderstood. A lot of companies do not understand the role of PR until a crisis hits or when there's an event to manage. But our role is a much bigger role than crisis management and events management. There's a lot that goes into it, including strategic and proactive thinking, running campaigns with or without a crisis. So not being understood, not being valued is a very big challenge that a lot of PR professionals face.
Continued growth of Uganda's economy and businesses, coupled with better understanding of public relations, has contributed to the increasing number of people dashing to invest in the industry. Bedson Mumbere, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
Now, members of parliament from the Mental Health Forum have urged government to regulate the manufacturing of and consumption of alcohol and other substances such as marijuana, meirungi, among others. According to legislators, abuse of such items has cost the country in terms of human resources, yet their production contributes less to the country in terms of revenue.
Alcohol and drug abuse are the biggest contributors to the spike in the mental illness across the country. According to the World Health Organization report, Uganda tops Africa in alcohol consumption.
Now, what is leading is abuse of substances. Very many factories have sprung up, manufacturing all types of drinks, telling people, I will call them lies, that they chew, they give special energy, to be very specific sexual energy. They chew heart diseases, they chew liver problems, and so many people advertise even in our media. And the media listen to all these issues. So at the end of the day, very many people go for waraji, which is adulterated, not purely manufactured. These poorly manufactured drinks, then direct consumption of drugs by the young people. Then when these are coupled with financial problems, they actually cause stress, which is correct. So
we have known alcohol is number one cause. We have not seen government outlawing alcohol. Why don't we ban alcohol use? We say we need taxes out of it. You find a way of regulating it and maintain it. So should we find a way of regulating production of these drugs that we think are not good? We regulate, but be able to help those people. Like we have put up people who are purposely growing njaga. I don't know what it's called. Cannabis. We've put up farms that are growing cannabis. Okay, can we find a way of regulating people who are going to grow such other products in a way that it doesn't affect the communities from where they are grown?
According to legislators, government has relaxed when it comes to regulating the manufacturing of alcohol and other harmful substances that the youth in Uganda consume.
Do not want to believe that we compare or we start thinking about the economic benefit when we are dealing with some of these psychotropic substances, the narcotics and all that. I've never been convinced to think in terms of that. If you want to know how dangerous those substances are, in most of these African countries where they are doing military coups, military coups, in many cases, the youths are first fed with those drugs, such that they do not think no more. Even when you tell them that the other side they are armed people, they will still go there, whether with the sticks or stones or with nothing, but they will still charge towards those places. This was the case in Libya. You put multitudes of soldiers on the street, to scare the population, but the population has been fed with these products. You get it. So Giving these people or allowing people in the community to really take drugs is dangerous for everybody. You have a population that is youthful, that is unemployed. Now making it even fearless to law enforcers is grave for the country.
There's an issue in the Uganda National Bureau of Standards with the leadership of the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. And everybody knows that in Uganda we have problem of standards. Even when you go to the market to buy something, they will ask you, do you want original or duplicate? It is a common word, meaning that our Bureau of Standards is not working, and it is not limited to only imported substances, but it also spreads to those manufactured goods here. So the Bureau of Standards to me is not up its game, and therefore, for that matter, our government takes the blame.
Ministry of Education should look into an issue of employing social workers in schools, as we have matrons in schools that talk about issues to do with body changes, especially with girl child. We need social workers to always talk to our children in the absence of parents, where parents can no longer do what they are supposed to be doing. And we cannot reverse the trend. This is where we are going. So if parents are not there, as government, what are we going to do to ensure that our children have people who can talk to them? And then maybe when parents are available, they can also do add on what these children are getting from school. Social workers are very vital. In fact, in European countries, social workers are counted next to medical doctors, because most of the issues that we have now are social issues. You might find someone is admitted in the hospital, but the whole issue is a social problem.
Members of Parliament on the Forum of Mental Health have pleaded with government for deliberate measures to fight mental illness, which is costing the country economically, socially, politically, among other aspects. Sam Lanifa, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
All right, Business Today will now take a short break, but we will return with more. Stick around.
SMART24, driving business.
Hello, with everybody for you. I did just shake bello. What is up on bello? Bello.
Changer, points of world class. Say hello to GOTV's newest package, GOTV Super Plus. The GOTV package you've been asking for. GOTV Super Plus has all the great channels you love on GOTV Super. Plus, big time international and kids channels the whole family will love. Plus, plenty of live Premier League action on Super Sports' dedicated Premier League channel. It's the package you asked for, and we listened. GOTV Super Plus, available from 1st August. GOTV, love it.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices, and get a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda, the taste of Uganda, yeah, I want ya.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasan Hotel. So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasan Hotels, luxury redefined.
SMART24, driving business.
It's such a pleasure that you're still watching Business Today with me, Rona Nahabwe, together with Winnie Wiinza Nakauchi. Now, moving on with Business Today and looking at countering urban housing deficits, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development is set to embark on decongesting urban areas following a surge in population, withdrawing land spaces due to the impact of horizontal construction expansions. A total of 2.5 million housing units are required to safely and amply accommodate people across the country, with a favor for vertical construction styles. Take a look.
Uganda continues to grapple with congestion and poor living standards, mainly due to the growing population centered in urban areas, leaving a housing deficit that is valued at 2.5 million housing units. Currently, it is estimated that 900,000 housing units in Uganda are substandard and require revamping or replacement.
The Minister of State for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Persis Namuganza, revealed that her ministry has come out with a plan that aims at curtailing the problem, which was revealed to members of the press at the media center in Kampala.
Houses which are on market are very, very expensive for the ordinary Ugandan. Of recent, we have been having discussions with KCCA, Kampala Capital City Authority, Buganda Land Board, National Housing Construction Corporation Company, and the other stakeholders who own land in Kampala, for example. And we want to start with Kampala because of the rapid increasing population, which I've talked about in my paper here, which I have read for you, to make sure that we stop going constructing just, spraying just on the ground, and we go vertical, and I have talked about it.
The vertical construction plan, which looks at condominiums as the best alternative to legacy housing construction styles, is hoped to eliminate slums while accommodating more people, but raises concern over misuse amongst occupants, to which the ministry has warned that all activities within the premises must align with the goals of their establishment.
The issue of the changing places from purely residential into some other functions. The emphasis under the Condominium Act 2022 is that those functions must be compatible. They should not conflict with the otherwise peace being enjoyed by the residents. And of course, the local authorities need to approve. In the case of any form of business activities that highly contradict with the peace of the people, then those activities may not be approved.
Government is set to inject 350 billion Ugandan shillings in the National Housing Finance Bank to facilitate Ugandans with affordable soft loans to construct homes, as it sets eyes on holding places, which means designated people may have to be evicted and can reoccupy properties that have been fully developed.
Using a model which is called rent to own, that an ordinary citizen, a house that has been calculated from ranging from 35 million, 50, 70, and I think 80, director, that is what has been researched as the ordinary Ugandan can afford. A house of 35 million, which they looked at as will be having one bedroom, a living room, and all the other spaces that make up a house. If given to this individual, he will be, or she will be able to pay for this house for over a period of time. And we are looking at a period of 10 to 15 years. It will be like you are renting, but at the end of the day, this house is going to be owned by you.
In its implementation, the ministry is set to work hand in hand with other stakeholders such as private firms, Buganda Land Board, KCCA Land Board, Uganda Land Commission, among others, to materialize this plan. Stuart Jacon, SMART24 Television, Business Today.
Now, in line with that, local leaders together with area members of parliament from parts of Amlata and Nakasongola districts have issued a strong warning to all those trying to evict their people from the lands they have lived on for decades. This follows a horrific incident that occurred on June the 16th in various areas of Amlata, during which millions of shillings worth of property was damaged. Take a look.
All over the world, land is known to be a vital aspect in human life, since all humanity depends on it for its existence. Land is what describes people as a community. On the 16th of June, at least 6 houses were set ablaze and property worth millions of shillings were destroyed in Amlata district.
Names of the lady Katushabe Juliet and her lawyers and their conduct in the area shall be investigated thoroughly and expeditiously by government. So Katushabe claims that she's a daughter to the late Kaweki Nafutali. And I believe that's where the investigation begins. Who is Katushabe? Is she really a daughter to this late Naftali? Does she claim rightly? Is she the administrator of the estate of the late? Is this estate still there? Now, when you hear the reports that this is not her first time to make claims in the area and get compensation, it's possible that there are some other people who may be behind, not just an individual.
Our people lost property. When you see the footage here, which I have on my phone, the vehicles were vandalized, the fish fridges were vandalized, fish was confiscated, houses were burnt, goats were burnt, many things happened. We don't want this to happen, and we condemn it on a serious note. In such a scenario, I want to call upon the district security committees, the one of Amorata and the one of Nakasongola, to compile a list for those people who were affected so that we see for further management. That's what I want to say.
According to the political heads from the affected areas, government should find a standing solution to the land disputes in this country, as the above riots were brought about because a one Katushabe Juliet claims ownership of that land and wants to evict people who have lived there for decades.
The firm of Yotre and Company Advocates and that of Katushabe be investigated, and to that extent a general inquiry file be opened by the security committees to investigate the legal existence of Yotre and Katushabe's instruction that was in Amolatar. But preliminary reports does indicate that Yotre Company Advocates does not exist with law counsel, and the said letter was not a letter of eviction, that is the instrument of eviction that should be used. So the misconduct of a Yotre is punishable by law counsel.
That the trigger of all this is land. So I appeal to the government that the issues of land in Nakasongola and the neighboring district, that is Amorata, should be solved forever and ever. That's when we shall go away with such contentions, with such mafias who are real cheating the government in terms of compensation, as it has been said by my colleague. Therefore, I appeal to every stakeholder in the government, more so our president. Indeed, for Nakasongola and Amorata, we need to solve this issue of land. That's when everything will be settled.
And I want to tell the people of Amorata that today, from today, be careful about your land, because we have understood there are mafias coming in to grab land in the interest of something, compensation. And we know what is within our district. I don't want to elude all the information here.
It is believed that government is set to construct a road which is going to pass through the conflicted land. That is why people like Katushabe come up now to claim it. According to the locals, it is not the first time that the said Katushabe gets compensated for land in those areas.
A non-land cartel that has been claiming land. She looks for where government is planning to have an investment, and she would forge a relative to claim land. It was noted that she claimed land at Zengebe, where Honduras constructed a ferry, and she was compensated 4 billion. So she has now noted that there is going to be construction of road, tarmacking of road from Namasale to Dokolo, and that stretch of land would make her get a lot of compensation. and that area is also having potential for mineral. A team from Ministry of Energy went. There is a potential salt deposit and oil in the area.
Like the one said, Juliet, who went claiming for 100 acres at Namasale, and the Langis were like, oh my God, where shall we go? These issues are also in Nakasongola. Nakasongola people are landless. They have cried for several times to government, calling upon the land funds to be implemented and given to the landless people so that they can own ownership of land. So I'm also calling upon government to please come up with strategic positions on how to help the people of Nakasongola and the people of Malta who tend to be landless. Thank you.
Due to land grabbing, local biodiversity and native forests are being lost. People are being evicted from their homes and forced to give up their land, along with all other problems. Samlanifa, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
Now looking at the regional scene, and in this aspect looking at the Zimbabwe coal power plant. In new undertakings to resolve its energy crisis, Zimbabwe has commissioned a Chinese-funded 600 megawatts coal power plant, adding more grid potential to the country's inadequate 2,240 megawatts of electricity produced per annum. While the development is meager compared to Zimbabwe's 5,000 megawatt energy deficit, President Mnangagwa welcomed the progress.
President Emerson Mnangagwa has commissioned the 600 megawatts Hangwe thermal power station constructed through a $1.2 billion loan facility from China, providing hopes amid its power cuts and multiple maintenance crises in the country's embattled energy sector. The president welcomed the progress, adding that Zimbabwe will look for internal solutions and new friends internationally to solve its financial challenges amid its sanctions blocking IMF and World Bank funds.
Because for any development, for any modernization in developing countries, energy is a critical enabler for our industrialization. So today, I'm wondering, I came here in 2018 and this was just plain when we did the groundbreaking. And I can't even remember where we were standing.
The Energy Minister, Soda Jemu, on Monday confirmed the completion of tests with the plant already commercially available. The Southern African country has for years been reeling under severe power shortages that at their worst late last year left millions of people in the dark for up to 19 hours a day. The $1.2 billion loan is also meant to expand 4 existing power plants, with Chinese Ambassador Zhu Ding confirming China's support for future projects. The development follows the launch of a new coal mine and hospital as President Mnangagwa races to improve his odds with elections looming later this year. Gene Daniel, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
Now, following a meeting with President Bola Tinubu, Nigeria's labor union has agreed to suspend the nationwide protests over the high cost of living caused by the fuel subsidy removal. The labor union, which rallied thousands of Nigerians nationwide for a 7-day workers' strike, retracted the move to allow negotiations with the government.
Just 24 hours after launching their nationwide strike, Nigeria's labor unions have agreed to proceed to talks with government to forge a way forward, subsequently suspending the protests against President Tinubu's economic reforms, which included removal of the fuel subsidies. On Wednesday, protesters in the major cities took to the streets, angered by the deteriorating economy as fuel prices are at its highest in Nigeria's history. In his inauguration speech in May this year, President Tinubu announced scrapping off the 50-year-old subsidies on fuel, a move he strongly defended shortly before the protests began.
For several years, I have consistently maintained the position that the fuel subsidy had to go. This once beneficial measure had outlived its usefulness. The subsidy cost us trillions of naira yearly, such as a vast sum of money would have been better spent on public transportation, health care, school, housing, and even national security. Instead, it was being funneled into the deep pocket and lavish bank account of a selected group of individuals.
While Tinubu criticizes fuel subsidies as favorable to only the rich, Benson Upa, the head of information and public affairs of the Nigerian Labour Congress, said the poor suffer the most from its removal and vowed the strikes will continue if demands are not met.
I mean, Mr. President knows our demands. They are well articulated and they have been submitted to him. He should do the needful. We are protesting to save the poor from further debt.
However, though calling off the protests after meeting with President Tinubu, the labor unions called Wednesday's protest a success since it forced the president to negotiate with them.
Thank you, Janet Denov, for those reports. Zoris, we've come at the end of Business Today. Thank you for having joined us tonight. I'm Rona Nahabwe, together with Winnie Wins and Nakauchi for the sign language. Before I sign out officially, here's what topped our focus tonight. In Business Today, President Museveni issues a strong warning against investor sabotage, denounces politicians and government officials who discourage foreign investors. And Electricity Regulatory Authority and the Ministry of Energy embark on efforts to increase the number of certified electricians in a bid to eliminate quacks. The Ministry of ICT has applauded the role of public relations in enhancing purchasing power for business growth. And I'd like to remind you that in case you missed any of these reports, you could watch on our YouTube channel, SMART24 TV Live, to be up to date and follow up. Also follow on our social media platforms to get to know the latest business news within the arena and beyond. As always, I'm Rona Nahabwe, and you have a nice weekend.